Live from the BBC, what we know about Manchester's synagogue attack. Just another day in upside down world then, eh? I'll tell you what I know about the Manchester synagogue attack before we get started. I mean, it's quite simple to sum up. I know that the likes of Hamza Yusuf, Zara Sultana and Sadiq Khan have spent the last 3 years pumping virulent, hateful anti-Semitism into cyberspace. I also know that when a load of blokes drove a death convoy through the middle of London shouting, well, things that I can't repeat on YouTube about Jewish people, nobody got arrested or prosecuted for it. And I also know that just last week, a young lad got arrested for typing F Hamas on his Twitter page because apparently anti-Jewish death convoys through the middle of London are fine, but voicing any distaste for a known terrorist group is apparently worthy of an arrest in England in 2025. What else do I know? Oh yeah, I know that the same Hamza Yusuf, for example, who is simultaneously more Scottish than Billy Connolly, but also a son of the soil of Pakistan, has now spent the last hour telling us how sorry he is. And he said, thoughts and prayers for the Jewish community. In fact, it seems like all the rank anti-Semites are out saying thoughts and prayers for the Jewish community, so it's a crazy time to be alive. Praying for the families. Cheers, Hamza. Shocked and horrified. Praying for the families. Cheers, Sadiq. Shocked and appalled. Thanks, Zara. Yeah, so that's what I know. I know we're living in upside down world, and they made a film about all of these British politicians last year, didn't they? I think it was called Both Sides of Everything, All the Time, All at Once. If they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. But let's discuss the issue at length, shall we? Okay, we all know what's gone on, but let's see what lies the BBC have to tell us. What they know about the Manchester attack. 3 people have died, including the suspect in a car ramming and stabbing attack at the synagogue in Manchester, with the suspect shot by police. The attack came on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish religious calendar, and is being treated as a terrorist incident. Here's what we know so far. Well, here's something else I've noticed. Weirdly, when Lee Rigby got his head lopped off, brutally decapitated in the middle of the street, the people who did that got arrested because they always tell us they've got to see the inside of a court of law. Oh, law, it's the law. Make sure you arrest them so they see the inside of a court of law. But this guy got 10 rounds in the eye. So, I mean, that's a bit weird. Also, they never treat it as a terror incident. If some religious fundamentalist donkeys one into 25 children while telling them, I'm doing this to you because you don't share my religion. If they do that, that's never treated as a terror incident, is it? And when Axel Rudu Kanubu stabbed a little girl to death, well, dozens of little girls, several of them to death, and they found Al-Qaeda training manuals in his bedroom, they definitely told us, no, you don't know, this is a terrorist incident, and they hid that from us, and they only told us a year later that it was definitely a terror incident. So it's very odd how there seems to be a double standard when it comes to policing the people brutalising the English people and the ethnic minorities brutalising another ethnic minority. That's a bit weird, isn't it? It almost seems like we're second-class citizens. What else happened? Police responded to reports of a car driving towards members of the public and a man stabbed at 09:31 on Thursday. The man who was stabbed is believed to be a security guard. Very wise, having a security guard at a Jewish place of worship in Manchalabad. I mean, yeah, the clue's in the name. Does anybody call it Manchester anymore? You're not going to bump into Paul Heaton or Liam Gallagher there these days, are you? But you might stumble across someone carrying out some female genital mutilation with a sharp stone in the middle of Piccadilly Gardens. It's in an area with a large Jewish community about 4 miles from the city centre. Police said they opened fire at 09:38 at one man, believed to be the offender, who died after being shot by officers. A large number of people worshipping at the time were held inside while the immediate area was made safe. The head of National Counter-Terror Policing told a police conference at New Scotland Yard that it was definitely a terrorist incident, yet you can say it with 100% certainty, and obviously the gunman got shot nice and quick because they like to make sure that the ethnic minorities are safe. But if a member of Al-Qaeda goes into a school full of little English girls and kills them all, takes the coppers an hour to turn up, and then it definitely wasn't terrorism. No, what they'll do then is they'll tell you that it definitely wasn't, and you shouldn't make aspersions about the Welsh choir boy, and then a year later they'll leak it on like page 23 of the Telegraph and hope nobody talks about it. Gareth Tonji, an eyewitness who was driving his delivery van near the scene, told the BBC he saw a man bleeding out on the floor. Can I just say Hollywood is to blame for the constant use of that appalling terminology. It's exsanguination or hemorrhaging due to gunshot wounds. Bleeding out just makes me think of a bad cop drama. Anyway, he said he saw another man laying on the floor in front of a car and could hear people shouting. Mr. Tonji said he saw another man with a knife stabbing the window trying to get in, but within seconds the police arrived and filled him full of holes. Incidentally, I can't show you any of the video because it's YouTube and we're not allowed to have any fun on here, but I would like to say it's good of them to blur it out, just like pornography. Yeah, because coincidentally, they blur out both videos of naked women and videos of snack bar fanatics getting slotted. They blur both of them out, probably because both of them make me tent peg my shorts for a decent period of time. Greater Manchester Police say 2 people were killed in the attack before the police shot dead the attacker, and 3 others have been remain in hospital in a serious condition. So it would have been a lot worse if not for modern medical technology. As we know, the statistics are only as low as they are because of amazing advances in hospitals and surgical procedures. That's why Sadiq gets away with massaging the numbers. If this was the 1970s, the streets would be awash with blood and the casualty figures would be 10 times as high, because we're living in clown world and the nation is being run by raving lunatics who think they can take both sides of every argument all the time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, eloquently explains why the Home Office has took their eye off the ball, because you'll remember we've just had the Labour Party conference and not once did that lot mention anti-Semitism or rampant Jew hatred, because they spent the entire time having a pop at Nigel Farage, didn't they? That's what they care about, worrying about old frog face there. Wasn't a single mention of the fact that vast swathes of the Labour Party and almost all of the regulars at the snack bar have indeed got a rank hatred, an ancestral, millennia-old hatred for the 4B2s. So again, my point is simple. I'm not advocating killing anyone, but I'll repeat what we've all been saying for years. What's it got to do with us? What did we get out of importing these foreign conflicts? We have enough on our own plates with English chavs and Mick Philpott, my mate Potsy. I've mentioned him so many times, I think I should send him some royalties, right? We've got enough on our plates worrying about Potsy. Why do we bring over a few million Indians and a few million Pakistanis and a few million 4B2s to the point where Leicester is 60% foreign? And then it all kicks off over in India, and what do we get? Gang warfare on the streets of Leicester. You remember this, don't you? I love how understated it is on Wikipedia as well. Oh, there was a bit of unrest when the hundreds of thousands of Hindus and regulars at the snack bar kick each other to bits in the middle of the streets because we thought it was a good idea to import ancient tribal feuding. It's a brilliant idea. It's right up there with acid attacks, female genital mutilation and suicide bombing. We've brought some marvellous kebabs, yeah. More than makes up for those first 3, doesn't it? Yeah, love that. And don't pinko commies in the chat give me any lip about colonialism, because they are definitely the fruits of foreign shores. In 1950, me granddad got knocked back by his high school sweetheart. He didn't melt a face off with battery acid in response. No, that's not what Englishmen do when they get rejected, sugar tits. And obviously the androgynous android himself made no mention of the faith of the person doing the murdering, which means it was definitely a Puma trackie and everybody knows it without even having to think about it because it's an imported religious feud just like always. And as Tony Romo quietly said, you've encouraged it by rewarding it and recognising Palestine and capitulating the British state and its values to the mob. Yes, indeed, Mr. Robinson. Very reasonable. And obviously all the left are saying it's all their fault. It's all their fault. Of course it is. Yeah. Again, it's a bit weird. The double standards, the unending hypocrisy of the left. When a young woman walks down a dark alley in the middle of a city of London surrounded by foreign men and she gets one horsed into her by a Somalian pirate, if you even remotely touch the idea that perhaps maybe she shouldn't have walked down the dark alley in a miniskirt at 3 o'clock in the morning in a seedy foreign area of London, they go, whoa, you can't blame the victim. Practicing reasonable, logical common sense is victim blaming. But when a bloke goes and ventilates a few innocent people because he's been conditioned by both his faith and the British state, because let's be honest, they've all spent the last 3 years telling them to do it. When that happens, it's their fault. Yeah, it's all their fault. Again, mind-melting hypocrisy from the raving lunatics that run the show. And to finish up, I'm not even going to bother with the greatest hits from all of the hypocritical left-wing MPs, especially the ones who love shouting about the snack bar. Zara Sultana is just one of hundreds who spent the last 3 years promoting hatred and violence at a certain group because they are ancestral foes and they both love very, very old books filled with desert scribblings, but they're all over X today saying shocked and appalled, thoughts and prayers, blah, 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 blah. And it's the same across the pond here, because that's what they did with Trump, and that's what they did with Charlie Kirk, and that's what they do every day. It's the literal definition of stochastic terrorism. I'm sure some of you have heard annoying left-wing intellectuals throwing the term about. Basically what it means is promoting terrorism by slippery means. That's what it means. It's when you spend all year calling Trump fascist, 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 fascist. Oh my God, he's going to kill all the disabled people. Oh my God, he's going to kill all the women. Oh my God, he's going to murder all the Jews. And then the second someone takes a pot shot at him, you go, oh, well, can't believe someone did that. Thoughts and prayers. Shut up. Trumpy Bear's almost too reasonable. The second someone took a chunk out of my ear and someone like Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi said, thoughts and prayers, Mr. Trump, I'd have been like, here, Skeletor, you've been promoting this for the last 3 years, so the gloves are off. I've lost a bit of my ear. I'm going to have the US Air Force airstrike your house, you crusty old hag. Oh yeah, and give that hammer guy the Presidential Medal of Freedom just for a laugh. Anyway, to finish up, police believe they know the suspect's identity, but they can't confirm it for safety reasons at the scene. Yep. If he was ginger and called Roy Brown, they'd have told you 2 seconds after they shot him 15 times, right? But they can't tell you for safety reasons, because if you write a name like, I don't know, Akbar Jabari Yusuf, if you write that on a website, it'll definitely cause more people to get stabbed in Manchester. Weird, but I don't make the rules, lads. Anyway, so I think that'll do us for the day, won't it? Did we learn anything new? Is any of this unexpected after the last few years? Are we thinking that tomorrow the Home Office is going to go, yeah, maybe we should stop worrying about this fictional far-right terrorism and stop arresting 12,000 normal Englishmen a year for tweeting normal things like, I don't like terrorist organisations. Do you think they're going to stop arresting people like that and put more effort into policing the ones who stab the little girls and blow up the buses and the trains and the bridges and groom 250,000 little girls and promote suicide bombing and endless death meted out to the people that oppose them, from Torquay to Taunton to Timbuktu, the people that have caused endless misery and death as far afield as Madrid and Berlin and Brussels? Are they going to do that? Are they going to worry about the people we should be worrying about? Or are they going to arrest me the next time I land in Heathrow because I tell jokes that Keir Starmer doesn't like? Ha! Gay! Yeah, we all know the answer. We all know the answer. As I keep telling you, it's got to get much, much worse before it gets any better. If they set off a dirty bomb, kill 100,000 people in Manchester, the next day, the BBC and the British state will say, but you know what the real problem is? People telling slightly racist jokes on the internet. So this is just another day. However, the slight hint of strange double standards from the state, quickly responding with firearms and mercilessly taking out the attacker because he happens to be attacking a different tribal group, that's a bit strange. But I guess we're not allowed to notice these type of things, are we? Double standards. If they didn't have them, they wouldn't have any standards at all. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. If you disagree, please leave a comment down below. Although, let's be honest, if you disagree with any of that, you probably struggle to operate a keyboard because you are as thick as whale spunk. All right? Thanks for tuning in. See you all tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.